What is going on here? I've been observing this morning. Look at this. There's a definite what's that dragonfly thing going on? Can you follow that? I bet. I was kind of wondering. Mr. Abeb. Very odd looking cloud formations coming through. It's this thing on the left. Keep me an eye on that. It's a bit odd. Going by the four-way symmetry. Interesting. Extreme health. What is that? That's just emerged out of nowhere. This dark thing here. Let's have a quick look at that through the I see. Interesting. So looking at this thing here. Carry on. Oh, is that too much? Way too much. I just wanted to try and bring out some of the texture here. Organize my interesting. Oh. Whether that holds. Yes. Oh, Mr. I. Parakeets are being a bit noisy. There's a dot there. It's difficult to work it out, isn't it? And then you see that intricate shape that it makes. It's very weird. Objects going on. Look at this. What's that, I wonder? Looks like it's still there. So if it tells me that that's not quite whatever that is, looks like a bee, like an old-fashioned beehive. It's kind of got that curved, top. So I can get rid of this. It is actually thick grey. Down a bit. Oh, that's sudden rain. Nice rain. Angle thing going on there. Well, apparently my bit rate isn't good enough all of a sudden. It hasn't changed all of this time, but now all of a sudden my bit rate is not good enough. What would be 4,000?
I don't eat there. I don't eat there.
That's the contours. This bit. Oh, hang on. Look at this. Is there something that's going on? Isn't that interesting? So this is oh look, it's a rainbow. Oh, we got a rainbow. That's really what's going on. There. Oh look, it's a double rainbow. Ha! Double rainbow. Triple rainbow. There's also one going along here. There's that one. And that one. There's something going on there. Interesting that there's a light up there. Ah, here we go. Isn't that interesting? So there's something there. There's a rainbow going there. There's one going there. Dark strip going there. Let's have a look at this cloud. Look at that. So beautiful. Thank you. Thank you, friends. Isn't it gorgeous? Now, is it me or is that rainbow adjusting itself? That rainbow has changed. I swear the rainbow has changed angle. Kind of has. You can actually see the way it moves. Oh, very interesting. Rainbows are fading now. Looks like it's almost like it's moving away now. What's this thing? That's what I'm seeing. Oh, I've seen some wonders already. Still seeing that rainbow is still there. Yeah. Interesting. I might have to make myself a cup of tea in a minute. Got to bring the gamma up to 75. I can see this now. Kind of that kind of thing. Let's see what else is there. Something like that. Probably didn't get it quite right there. Interesting, isn't it? What would be causing that kind of shadow? And then you look at this. Oh, look, and there's a triangle thing here in between the clouds. And you know, this is connected to this thing, which is clearly another object of some kind. Look. What is that? It's moving. Look. I got this. Wow. It goes out like that. It comes in like that. I've seen these. I've no idea what. Oh, it must be part of this thing here. Yeah, look at that. Look, it's almost like a drawbridge. Here. What is that? So today we are identifying things. Although some of this feels very new, or at least I may have missed it in the past. Why does it look like everything's message? It's just a question of adjusting this setting so that it emphasizes the right perspective. Look at this. And then it gives. I mean, it's not entirely like. What is that? What is that one? But once again, it's kind of. Well, that changed quickly. Another round. Look at that. Still got that shape there. It's adjusted slightly. But that could easily be explained if it was rotating according to perspective. How it goes that way. It's funny, isn't it? You know, people can sit there and watch the most boring things. A little bit off there. Look at that. They're trying to assist me. They're trying to find the most inorganic shapes possible. It's like a corner unit. Still there. Oh, oh. I apologise. It seemed my camera couldn't cope. Completely different picture. Looks like something else entirely, doesn't it? So that. Getting some golden sunlight already. What it's doing is emphasizing where the shadows and the highlights are, right? Look at this. What's this all about? I'm just drawing lines where the strong shapes are. Eventually. But there's also something right here. Right in front of us. Oh guys, show me the way. Show me the way. Okay.
Yeah, it was in Manchester Hospital.
What the?
For 3 months. Yeah.
It's just
I'm thinking of how you could help my brother. I've got an empty flat in NC. You can do that plastic.
What is that? Is that actually big? It's a big one. So it's one.
I would prefer you to stay where you are.
Oh, I'm because the pan hasn't good.
For him, it's good because he doesn't know what is good and what is bad.
Now he's digging you out.
here it is, it's like a freaking mountain. But it's not, is it? It's not just a mountain.
Why do you think this is up?
And then there's another one here.
There's nothing over there. Nothing over there.
It's like this huge curved wall flying through the air. Is that really, that's massive, isn't it?
Whenever you come to truck, it's too clever for you. That's why you see.
What are you calling it out now? You know that?
I would like to help if I can help, you know. But because you are more nearer to him, also stay.
You want with all that?
Oh wow, hang on a minute. Back up, back up. Let's change these settings for a minute. Look at that. There's also a line. There's a rectangular bit there. Wow. Yes. See what I'm doing, can't you? You know, there's something. is that? What would cause that? What would cause this? What would cause this unique shadow? Isn't that odd? Isn't that odd? And then you break it up some more and you go, oh, hang on a minute, some more. It's very clever, isn't it, the way they've disguised that? Oh. Hey, it's Forever Conscious. It's stunning, isn't it? You start to shift things around. It changes the way you see everything. We didn't have a chance. We weren't going to see this unless we actually... Look at this. I mean, like, how obvious do you want it? Clearly it's something. I mean, what causes a shadow like that? Really? Rockets to the moon. I don't know what's going on. I think it's a big combination of everything, but I mean, it could be so many things. It's like your sense of perspective is so skewed. We've been looking at it wrong all this time. I mean, look at this. Why would there be a line in the sky denoting some kind of shadow and highlights as if it was some kind of nuanced, layered architecture or mountain range or... Yeah, why would that be happening? Mind boggles. I mean, this stuff is so fascinating. I can't take my eyes off it at the moment. Constantly trying to get an idea of what what could it possibly be that is so big? Just draw it as I see it. Sometimes I'm not great at it, I'll admit that, but I mean, I think a lot of this stuff's quite easy to see if you're actually looking for it. Now I just have to find a way to get paid to do this, and then I've got a way to make money whilst at home. Because that's the world we're forced to live in. I don't fucking like it. another snowball. And then it's got an edge there. Okay, some weirdness going on here. There's definitely an edge there. There's definitely an edge there. There's definitely an edge that goes there. Maybe an edge that goes there. Oh no. Yeah, that's just perfect. I think they have just as much fun creating these projections as I do chasing them with my mouse pointer. I don't think they're all projections, but I definitely think that part of the reason why it's so convoluted and such a mess up there is because of deliberate projections, and you know, because sometimes you'll see the same patterning happen in multiple places, almost parallel to itself. Oh, pardon me. Okay, so look. Alright, so what do you see here? I see a blue tube type thing going on here, right? But it's also, depending on how you're looking at it, right? It could also be a rocky outcrop. But then you look at the the unusual straightness of the clouds here. And then more of it here, which kind of, it looks like mountains too. What kind of world, what kind of physics, what kind of realm are we in where that's possible? I mean, that's the thing. I mean, there has to be a limit, right? There has to be a limit to some of the physics of this world. Look at the tiny little triangle right there. Going for a stroll, I suppose. Oh man, it's just unbelievable. They're getting more obvious as each day passes as well. That's the thing I've noticed as well. They're really they like to make it known that they're around now. You know, and it's like, okay, we're here. Like, a lot of face activity recently. So this blue wall business, you know, it's like this huge blue wall. Look at that. What is that? You've got this white thing here. It's kind of turning in that kind of direction. It doesn't matter anyway. If you look at it, it almost looks like it's obviously changing. There's a perspective thing going on here. What would do that? See what I mean? It's not organic. They're depression marks. I shouldn't be able to draw I shouldn't be able to do that. I mean, yeah, there's all that talk about it, clouds looking like castles and stuff, but they're not really actually supposed to have actual castles in them, you know? I think that's... Castles are meant to look like they're in the sky, not actually be there, you know? I think I'm overdue for a cup of tea. It's amazing how quickly it's kind of just... Maybe I'll go back over that live stream so far. We had a double rainbow earlier. Take this off. Oh, really? Was I doing it all in... Oh, it's just scrolling back through the footage just to see. I was on the four-way symmetry. A little bit too long there. I forgot to turn it off while I was drawing. It probably doesn't look as nice to see it, because what this does is it obviously does something to the colours and whatever, and it actually looks quite dirty and overexposed in different areas and so, but that's the way it is. You realise it, like, we shouldn't be making these kind of, like, look at that. When you say that looks like the bottom of a flying island, or maybe, you know, like, look at that. It's got all that kind of, like, almost mountainous texture to it. It looks like... you wouldn't really get that, because everything looks like clouds. Our atmosphere gives us false ideas, false impressions. Look at that. What is that? That looks like a giant penis on a block. What the hell, man? Hang on. Look. I think they've just been they're having a fucking joke with me. Like, what the fuck? What is that even? What is that? What even is that? Tell, look, another little building thingy. Yeah, that's well hidden, isn't it? You know. So I mean, I like to pretend that they're my friends, but I mean, part of me wonders if there's like, I don't know, some like space CIA agents up there, like, with the voice of God technology, pressing all the buttons and talking into a microphone with a silly voice, and that then gets projected into my mind with all a load of random nonsense. Oh yeah, oh I'm this entity from the Pleiades. Whatever. I don't know, man. Do you think the CIA have the ability to do this? Or they would just be part of a bigger thing, wouldn't they? That may actually have resources or whatever to do this. I'm prepared to consider that this might be us. I'm not like that balmy, but to be honest, I think, judging by the size of it, because whatever this is, it pertains to a paradigm of reality that is far greater than what we know, right? It's very clear that if this is stuff is going on all the time, right? Our world is subject to a different kind of reality that it hasn't even been introduced to yet. It's like, because it's very clear they've got all these kind of giant vehicles in the sky flying around. Yeah, it's not exactly it's not really a flying saucer, is it? It's not like a shiny piece of shiny light and randomly flying around in the sky. You know what those are? I've got a theory. Those are just the lights, right? They're just gliding by in these giant things, and one of them just turns on the light bulb and. Alright, you want to send a message to the humans? Yeah, I'll just go over to the bathroom. I get the turbo lift to the bathroom. Into the shitter. Turn it on. Alright, the humans will think that's a flying saucer because we're travelling quite fast. I didn't think of that. You know you're not meant to go to the bathroom while you're on duty, right? You know, like. Yes, absolutely. Just reading what Fairy Consciousness says, I'd imagine they could have the ability, but this is part of the realm itself. Yeah, absolutely. This is something bigger than us. This is something we haven't even. Well, I mean, I'm sure there probably are departments that might be aware of some aspects of this, but to be honest, I honestly don't know anymore. I mean, it's predictive programming, right? It's hidden in plain sight in our science fiction, right? You know, we've been primed to, you know, they've told us that this technology exists, and people, because it's put in a science fiction film, people think it's just science fiction, but that's how they work, isn't it? They literally tell you through fictional entertainment everything to do or whatever, and then like Right. I mean, there's so many different potentials. I think that might be partly why there is so much going on up there, is deliberate. Because the signs in the heavens should be clear and obvious, right? That's the whole point. You see something in the sky, if you're connected to nature, if you know your symbolism or whatever, you'll understand what a sign in the sky is going to mean. It's going to speak to you some way, right? The fact is that they do speak to you, but there's some kind of convolution that's happened. So there's also all of this other kind of crap going on. So you can't actually really read the signs in the sky properly. But actually the main thing that we need to worry about is proving that these things are really happening. And trying to keep doing it, over and over again, because ultimately that's what I need to do, is just keep finding anomalies. Because if even just one of them is true, then it begs the question for an absolute review of everything we know. So I don't think I need to be the one to do that, really. I think the anomalies will speak for themselves eventually. I'm just capturing them for posterity. Are they? Oh. Such a strange collection of shapes there. You can always work out what they are just by. This one looks like some kind of flying object, just turning around. We've got something else here. It's like something from the Starship Enterprise. Almost looks like a bloody Klingon load of prey right there. Yes. I mean, why would they be around? That must be one of these so-called off-world civilizations that managed to escape the first time around, or something. I think that might be possible. I actually think what's probably happened is they found some way of lifting their homes and places out of the ground and levitating them and moving them. I actually think that may actually be something that happened. Don't know why. Something about that idea resonates. Like there was some ability to move vast regions of. Yeah, because they're not going to be able to just make it all again. I'm just drawing really fast, by the way. I'm not going too detailed here, but the fact is that you've kind of got to ignore a lot of the detail, because the detail is actually the thing that's distracting. It's the overall shape. Oh yeah, my tea. I was making tea, wasn't I? A bit of rain. Yeah. Dramatic skies there. Sometimes it feels like they do it just because I've turned on the camera. Oh my gosh, you see that? Can I turn that upside down? Look at that. Huh. Oh wow, look at this. Oh, wrong way. Right, exactly. So many of the so many civilizations just plainly vanished. Well, what if they all just got onto a freaking flying island and then zoomed off? Or what if they managed to levitate? You know, it might also explain a lot of the other stuff that's been going on, the ideas of mud floods and other shit. You know, like if there was technology involved, there must have been maybe there was a period of time in previous resets where there was actually civilizations that managed to somehow escape through one method or another, you know? That's evil. Can hardly hear him. Yeah, I mean, I go out, I look out the window with my naked eyes, and I can still clearly discernible. This isn't just something that's on the camera. This is something you can see with your own eyes at this point. You know, you see those little anomalies there. Right, they must have done something. You know, I mean, look at it. If you think about it, how did we go from a reality where we have like the Large Hadron Collider, and then suddenly, all of a sudden, there's thousands of them all over the place, all over the world. How did that happen? And you know, because it's never been reported that these things existed up until very recent times. Like how many? I never heard of anything like the Large Hadron Collider until the Large Hadron Collider became a newsworthy thing. And then suddenly, Mandela effect comes along. Suddenly, there's thousands of Large Hadron Colliders all over the place. You've got to start wondering, you know, is this actually technology that they've discovered? Do you know what I mean? Technology that's underground. And then I look at FPV Angel stuff, right? They're interesting. They're right. You know, basically, we live in a angel particle matrix, and it's a simulated reality, and blah 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 blah. But they actually managed to like fit in the ley lines and a whole bunch of other stuff by decoding stuff. It's really really interesting perspectives there. And kind of, I think there's something in it. I do think there is some kind of perhaps some kind of divine or spiritual technology that's at work that we're getting a chance to see now. I mean, there's so many alternatives. Depends how far up the rabbit hole, down the rabbit hole, whatever, where in the rabbit hole you are. I mean, you know, let's get past the ancient alien stuff, because I mean, yeah, that's just level one of the earlier levels. Oh, hang on a minute, what's this? Sorry, I'm a little bit out there, but not drawing very well at all there. Stop turning. Huh. And then you got this bit here. What world is this? Right, I mean, you've got to know by now that the world, that the Earth that you thought, the reality you thought you were in, is not the reality. Is nothing like they told us, right? You've got to be at that point now where you realise that that your world is so much more alien than you could ever believe it possible. At this point, you know, it's exciting, very exciting. It means, wow, there is so much more to this reality. It's not just this kind of mundane, have a day, you know, have a job, stuck in the office, 9 to 5. You know, it's not really like that. That is just a construct we've all participated in, we've limited ourselves to, when really this world is so much more going on in this reality right now, right here. I'm drawing it right now. I don't even know what I'm drawing, but I know that what I'm drawing isn't, you know, it's reality, man. That's something to hope for anyway, right? That gradually, as this reality reveals itself, it will become so impossible to ignore that everyone will have to stand up and take notice. It will become a matter of survival, to be honest, I think. You know, because I think the Matrix will just do whatever. We'll just keep turning up the heat until everyone wakes up, and the sooner you wake up and start taking measures to not get caught up in it, the better. It's interesting, isn't it, how that meets that kind of triangle-esque. Yeah, there's your triangle. So there's definitely a triangle ship element in it. Right, those are definitely part of the equation. I'm going to read you all stuff. I'm mumbling to myself. I reckon that's what's going to happen, though. I think we are going to start experiencing it, and it's, you know, look at these eyes. They've been showing me so many eyes. You know. I think all I need to do is like maybe do a time lapse of this stuff, see how it moves around. Let's go back there. Keep forgetting to make my tea. Where was I? It just sucks that we didn't have the chance to experience all this glory. Yeah, I asked that, didn't I? Here it's finding proof that this place was ever a sort of paradise. Many people make bold claims. Right. Well, I mean, it'd be impossible at this point. Right. If we take everything that we've learned from all the sacred texts that are available to us, and all the myths and everything in history, whatever was, is lost. I mean, even it's just a recycled world. I mean, this is the thing. We've got fragments of tiny things that we don't even know if we can believe or take seriously half the time, and the likelihood is it's going to be a case of Chinese whispers at this point. Sorry, should I say broken telephone? I'm not even sure what the hell to say now at this point. I don't want to be rude. Look at this. So big old, look at that. Isn't that amazing? I hope someone's watching this with me right now, because like, you know that what you're looking at right there is some kind of being. Wow. Definitely eyes, nose, and mouth, right? It also looks like it's. This is the thing, I think. Looks like it's some kind of landscape as well. Interesting. Okay, I'm suddenly thinking to myself, this this shape reminds me of the alien face that I saw in one of the human resonance animations that I made. It's the alien video game one that I did. I think I featured it on one of my live streams a few weeks ago, but do I still have it? That's the one. Let's see if I got the right one. See what I mean? Alien face. At the top there. Let's turn this off because how dark is it? Look at that. Look at that. Alright, we'll just look at it normally, look at that huge shadowy shaft there. Shaft of darkness. Ugh. Okay, that's interesting. Interesting. Ah, damn it. Oh, look at that. Right there. And that's the reason why I put it on. Look at that. These beings seem to have like multiple faces and multiple eyes. That's one thing I've noticed. Or a face with more than one pair of eyes. So there's like a pair of eyes, and then there's another pair of eyes above them. Look at this. Is it the beast? Oh, this huge like. Wow. Oh, look, and there's another one here. Whoop, whoop. Sorry, man, I'm getting so carried away. Let me catch up. I think the realm is designed that when or if humanity does rise up on a mass scale, the simulation creates a reset event, and then everything is back to square one. So it's like, right, it's almost like triggered by the collective vibration of consciousness. And when the consciousness reaches a certain level of vibration, it triggers off an event. But I reckon the flavor of that depends on the flavor of the frequency that consciousness is emitting. And so you can understand why then it becomes important to influence the frequency and the vibration, I suppose. Because maybe that does affect the event that will occur, you know. Maybe the event is determined by the level of our collective frequency or whatever, our vibration at the given time. Maybe we are siphoned off into different groups and destinations. Yeah, it doesn't make sense that all of this would happen for no reason. Even if we die, there's obviously something that's going to happen afterwards that where we're going to go. So look, it's that thing again. Kind of diamond thing, but it's kind of got that long bit on it too. I've seen it so many times. Let's have a look here. I had to be a download, but that's how I feel this place works, right? Yep, kind of answered that one, didn't I? Oh, apparently I'm buffering. Interesting. Hope the cutting out isn't too bad anyway. I go back to those GIFs every once in a while to see if something clicks. Yeah, it's definitely the Mayan hypothesis is a big one. Yeah, absolutely. It's all connected at this point. But, I mean, you know, at this point, I've just created very interesting animated works of art. You know, and it's not just me that made it. It was whatever else was working through me and creating those frequencies in the first place. You know, if the frequency is negative in conjunction with rising up of people, it triggers the reset. But maybe if it's a positive, right? I've got this belief that that there's only so many times, right, that a negative reset is going to occur, and that they vary depending on what happens and how what the it's and I think eventually a wild card, the wild card is the event, right? And that wild card, and it looks like we've had a series of unfortunate events over time. And if you think about it, maybe we're actually due something positive. Who knows? I mean, we don't even know. And in a weird way, that's still looking at it in a really three-dimensional binary kind of way, right? It's not. As I say, well, there must be something. We're attributing good and evil to these things. Just because we do that doesn't mean it's evil. We're just attributing. So yeah, there is that side of things too. But that's an interesting shape, isn't it? I always find it quite interesting when the sky just loses all of its texture like that. Because it makes absolutely no sense. Because you can see a little bit of texture here. Yeah, I mean, yeah, if there's lots of rain, I suppose that would probably be obscured slightly, but, really? Because that looks more like a pyramid to me. What is with these edges, huh? What's going on there? It's blue there. Is that our just blue clear sky, or? I mean, it just loses all texture, and I think that is technology. I think something comes along and literally just goes, okay, full on blanket, starts pumping out lots of grey clouds. Look at that. Oh, oh my goodness. It's just mystical when you add the symmetry layer to it, because it's almost like it's showing you the beauty and the symmetry, and the mysticalness of it all. Such an intense. Yeah, why have we got such a obvious it's still there. It's still there. It's not just because of the effect. You can tell that all the effect is doing is just it's not actually adding anything so much as just changing the values of different areas. But why is there that kind of shape there? What is this? Slipped on that bit. I just wish we had a timeline to refer to that. Showed positivity, but with what we know about how this place is run, it wouldn't shock me if that positive timeline was hidden from us, or was so far back that those records are almost impossible to find besides a select few that may still have them. Yeah. Clouds just materialise, that's another thing we've been lied to about, obviously, seen it happen so many times. Yeah, I'm constantly asking myself what exactly are clouds. We're always starting from scratch with everything, because it's the only way to do it. Because all of the ways we were told just tell us, it's like, oh, well, the science is settled. Science is settled. Science is settled. We don't need to worry about clouds anymore. Everybody get back to work. Stop looking up at the sky. We've got the weatherman who's doing it for us. We've got NASA. We've got the Ministry of Defence. We've got this. We've got that. You don't need to worry about it though, guys. Don't waste your time and effort getting your own telescopes and technologies to do this. Don't waste that. Oh, you haven't got time to do that. You've got jobs to do. You've got work to do. Get back into your slavery. Well, how dare you have a pastime that isn't making money or isn't legitimized by the state or an economic market, or how dare you? Endless economic growth. I mean, that's one of the few things I kind of agree with Greta about. I mean, she's only pointing out the fucking obvious. That was all. But it's like, but then the shaming and guilt aspect of it, I think, is what pissed most people off. So hang on a minute, bitch. Some of us have been concerned about it for a very long time. We've been doing everything we can as individuals to be mindful and protective of this environment. And you come along from fucking nowhere and tell everyone else that we're fucking this place up. Bitch, you have no idea. If you're even really a schoolgirl at this point, I mean, it's like, who fucking knows? But like, come on, man. Like, God, I'm gonna sound like Biden, aren't I? Oh, man, come on, man. That's my fucking line. Oh man, I'm not even going to be able to say what the things I want to say anymore because they're ruined by people. Look at that. I'm just going off on one now. Trust the plan, man. Trust the plan, because you don't need to do anything. You can sit in your garden and watch the fucking daisies grow. Don't worry, Trump's got it all in hand. Huh. Q's got a plan. Got babies on the fucking brain, mate. Oh, hang on a minute. Is this like an eye thing here? Maybe like a reptilian baby, perhaps. Like that. I think that says J. Or maybe not. Maybe if I do stuff enough, it might actually look like a word. RJJR. Maybe not that one then. Look at that, it's like a little rock in a sea of clouds. I look another eye. Right by that airplane. Do you know what? Isn't it interesting, right? How the narrative that they're pushing about Earth is the same narrative they're pushing about the human body now. That we are somehow weak and unable to look after our own health. That we have to rely on other things. That our immune system is somehow no longer capable of doing its job. And it's like, hang on a minute, but the Earth has its own systems of cleaning too. You know, like absolutely right. Well, there's definitely a V shape going on here. See, I mean, I don't think government is necessarily a bad idea if it's done correctly, but I mean, now what we have is ridiculous. I mean, nobody wanted that. Nobody wants what we've got now. Like, what the fuck's going on? That's way too far, man. You don't get to come into our lives and our homes and tell us what to do with them and where to go and when. You know, that's way too far. You know, it's like. Oh, really? You found letters and them, right? Oh man, it's crazy, isn't it? I think with this, she's going on about how she thinks he's in heaven and stuff. But to be honest, I think our lost loved ones come around, they hang around us. I don't think she has to worry too much about where he is. Oh, now we've got torrential rain. Scary, huh? We're gonna have a thunderstorm, maybe? It's not been hot enough. You can see whatever this is, it's huge. Interesting how these things have such a dramatic round shadow, isn't it? Because that thing would come up around there, wouldn't it? Yeah, I've thought about doing video stuff. I've had a few people kind of ask me, some friends. I'm still not in that frame of mind for doing videos with people yet. Again, I'm in a real deep contemplative time at the moment, you know, like what could we be creating that? Okay, so then let's go turn that up. Okay. 40. This is what it's like without anything. Oh, cool. This way you get to see who's raining on you. You can see the fluctuations in the colouring as well. How it's kind of going from green to reddish purple. Oh, well, you see these things just emerging. Let's just have a look. If we might give you an idea of what's going on. Oh. Oh wow, look, there's an eye. You can see the eyes there, right? Yes, I have occasionally looked at the flight tracker, not for a while, but when I was noticing how many airplanes that were flying over and how often it got to a point where I was thinking, I want to make sure that these things are even on there, because it was just happening so often at one point. And you know, sure enough, there were plenty of times where there weren't, you know, weren't anything around, but yet there would be the odd plane there just flying around. So that, I mean, it was one of the reasons why I started thinking that some of these things might not actually be planes at all, that they may actually be holographic projections. Same kind of technology used maybe for the 9/11 thing, but I mean, it's becoming. I've seen some videos recently that are suggesting that actually whatever it was, it's been airbrushed out, and they've actually, you know, manipulated all of the footage prior to actually. So it's not actual live, but it was sold as if it was live. So I mean, so what's this? Something big like that, and then a curve around there, a curve there. I really appreciate the offer of the open invitation, by the way. I mean, I wasn't hinting or anything, but I mean, like, you'd probably be one of the first people I'd go to if I, you know, when I'm ready. You know, I'm not interested in talking about shiny metal objects. That's the thing that kind of makes me laugh a little bit. That's how you've got all these people into UFOs, and they're always looking for the metal, shiny metal saucer, you know. And it's like people upset because they can't see the sky because of clouds, and it's like, but you've got clouds. Look at the bloody clouds. I mean, they're doing plenty of weird stuff, you know. Like, right. yeah, it's like, oh, we can't see the stars because the clouds are. It's like, I'm thinking, come on, man, like, why didn't you even think to look at the clouds? Like, they're the first thing you see when you look up, you know? You always, usually, generally see a cloud of some kind, right? So it's almost like we were programmed to the point where we just look through things and don't even see it staring at us in the face. It's kind of ridiculous. And I think that's where we need to work on stuff. That means that everything we need to look at has to come up from a perspective of that, you know, the idea of, well, we could be wrong. What if, you know, are we really trusting these guys to tell us what our reality is? Because that's what we're basically doing. That's what we've basically done all our lives. We've trusted other people to tell us about our reality. And we haven't needed to even go out and test any of it. Not once have we felt the need to go out and go, oh yeah, let's see if what they say about the weather is true, or what they say about clouds is true, or what they say. No one's ever really done that. Not really. You know, and it's the same principle. You could apply that to lots of different things now. You could apply it to most of the sciences, for instance. Or, you know, we could start going, hang on a minute, what does the science about that say? And what happens if we actually physically spent time looking at it and observing it and measuring it in some way, shape or form? What happens then? You know, can we really trust what they tell us? Because I mean, I don't for a second believe that this is random water particles. Not for 1 second do I believe that clouds are random water particles. That is the biggest pile of shit I've ever heard in my life. After the years I've spent watching this stuff now, and I've put myself through it, man. Like, really spent a long time doing this. I think about it, you know, many hours. And I can say from that, just from that observational perspective of doing it for so many times, that something is, our understanding is completely wrong, absolutely wrong as fuck. What happens if I do that? These kind of flying platform things as well. Oh god, thing's gone down again. Right, that's what we do. We look up to leaders and authority figures, and we don't actually look up in our own reality. Look at this. Like, so whatever this is, it's some kind of turning around. It's kind of going that way. You see? It's done exactly. It's still maintaining the same shape. It's just kind of turning around. So you know it's not a fucking cloud. You know that noise that you were just hearing wasn't a fucking airplane. It was this thing turning around. Look at that. Still doing it. Isn't it great? Isn't it great to see this stuff and realise and actually be okay with it? Like, I mean, there's nothing I can do, right? Look at that. Oh, we've got some bouncy buggers around. You seen them? The ones, the little black things that whiz around. Oh, look! It seems that it was reconfiguring its position so that it was in line with. Look at that! Look at the way it's moved. So whatever that is, it's. Is it this thing here, or is it this thing here, or is it all of it? Because then you look up and you go, okay, there's the whole thing here. Whole thing going on around here. You got some over here too. You got something going on there. See, it's still doing it, still maintaining that shape. Look. Oh, look, now it's becoming more familiar. So we've got a triangle there. Let's go back to this. Thank you for the compliment, by the way. I appreciate that. I'm doing my best. I mean, I'm doing what I can do. This is therapeutic for me, right? Because I mean, my general day-to-day existence is pretty simple. I have to keep things pretty simple and very calm, very peace and quiet orientated, just so that I can actually get through the day without having a panic attack. So this is one of the things I like to do that keeps me sane. And it's like, well, why not? You know, glad I kind of came up with it. And it's just got multiple purposes. You know, I get to chat to people. I get to express myself. It's my little piece of the internet that I get to do and say stuff with. You know, it's not about making money or anything like that. It's all about just exploring and expressing. Recording this journey, right? What an interesting journey it is. I mean, I don't know if I'm drawing it exactly properly. Sometimes, you know, sometimes I can see it as clear as day, and other times it kind of appears gradually. There's so many details that you miss, you know. You can't get it all because it's moving. So you're just aware that you need to just get the main bits. It's like I might be an anxious person, but I also value the right to freedom. And like when I know that I will not always be this way, that I will eventually get to a stage in my life where I can, well, hopefully lead a more varied, active existence. And when that day comes, I want to be living in a world where I can still do that. Otherwise, what is the point of living, right? I mean, as somebody who has experienced quite extreme depression over the years, made a few attempts, and you get yourself out of that space where you realize like killing yourself is not the answer. But then at the same time, you're still having to find a reason to get up every day, a reason to push yourself, a reason to live, and that's very hard because you may have given up attempting to kill yourself, but that's not the same as you've chosen to live, right? Choosing to live is not the same as choosing not to kill yourself. So, and there's a very real difference between those two mind states. And people think, assume because you've chosen not to. There we go. Look, this is them now showing their true colours. Look at this. It's almost like a series of vices and pipes and tubes. That kind of like hive-esque technology, like it's non-aerodynamic, it's bulky, it's blocky, it doesn't really make any sense on an aerodynamic basis, so you have to then kind of consider, well, this is attached to something above it then, in that case. Something above this. So we have a ceiling, there must be a ceiling. What about this random square like light anomaly? So, I mean, it's the thing, it's like, all these projects I've got going on, they're all in the works. They may take some time because I'm also having to work on myself. I am my biggest project at the moment. Yeah, the personal development side of things. But not in a way that those shills online would have it. Absolutely not. There is a need to improve on a personal level, but I'm going to do it in my own time, at my own speed, in my own way, right? I mean, like, I'm going to find the tools that I need to do the things that I need to do that work for me. There's many variations. Look at that. Now, is that me, or does that look like a... Is that... Oh, you moved already. Don't worry. There's plenty of other things here. So I'm guessing that's down there. Let's see, can I get a sense of... Oh look, a nice little platform ship there. You're letting me draw you, are you? Oh, look, eye person checking in on me there. Now I'm just wondering, I obviously have a connection of some kind to something. Have you ever known anything as responsive as this? I'm not telling lots of people either, you know, it's just, I just do it. I don't make a big announcement about it. It's just there, it's just subtle. You take it or leave it. You can believe what you want. It's kind of... Yeah. Absolutely. See what I mean? This non-aerodynamic kind of blocky kind of technology going on in there. What is that? Some kind of scorpion tail? Anyway, or a dragon maybe? Serpent? You've got these kind of almost military-esque, castle-like outcroppings, and you've got this bat thing up here that's just suddenly turned up out of nowhere. Interesting, huh? Isn't it very reminiscent of that V I was drawing earlier as well? Look at the way it's... Look at this, you can't deny this. It's not normal, this shouldn't be happening. Yeah, so you can tell that it's obviously something that's flying. One of their kind of like observation vehicles that they have. It's not very aerodynamic, is it? Kind of wondering how they do it, but I definitely think there's a incredible. Bear in mind that the sun is in the opposite direction at this point. We're facing southeast at the moment. Well, east. Look at this. Look. Can you see that? Look at that. Where did that come from? It's part of the same technology, isn't it? Surely. Oh, I appreciate that. Talking is good. I mean, you know, I have spoken so much, and I do actually have a therapist at the moment. About 10 more sessions of that left. Look at this. Look at these lines. Yeah, random water particles do that. That's random water particles, guys. Just random water particles. I'm sure that if other people were to do this, that they may get similar results anyway. You know, I don't think it's anything special that I'm doing. I know that there are lots of other Skywatchers who are also getting plenty of anomalous stuff. I think there may be one of the commonalities might be that people observing and going about observing it somehow attracts these things even more. The very act of observation seems to be a major factor. You've got this thing here. I mean, can't tell me this isn't an object. I mean, look at all that blazing light. You just got to work out where your center of perspective is. You are assemblage point. Skydome Atlantis, maybe? Like you can see the lines here and the lines, it's almost like yeah, because I've not. I mean, okay, I'll be honest. It's not the best web camera in the world. I could. There's I don't know. I mean, but I get plenty. It's enough. It's enough for me. Plasma event. Interested to see what the movement of that's like. Oh wow, you need to see this. You scroll back. You can see all kinds of fucking things moving. Wow. Oh wow. Absolutely astonishing. I was just rewinding myself, actually, just going through it and watching how things are moving. It's just really astonishing to see. It's like, oh man, we didn't have a chance. Look at them. Whoa. If you get a chance, feel free to do that. I mean, that's what I've just been doing. It's incredible, but this is, look at this. I don't know about you, but I've been getting the feeling of presences coming in a lot today. Amazing footage today, absolutely amazing. Of course, you can see the eye thing there. Now, I think the eye motif itself is actually something that's part of the design of these things. I think these motifs are incorporated in part of their technology. Amazing how, as you rewind, you see where that cloud goes and how it fits in with the background, and at a certain angle creates that perfect eye effect. And you're like, how does that even happen? And you realize it's got to be multi-dimensional to a certain degree. You know, it's like that kind of serendipitous stuff doesn't necessarily come easy for humans. Maybe it does. Maybe that's one of the beliefs we've been fed all this time. But we've got. So it looks like it's almost like it's pulling back now. So I say, okay, well, you had a good look at us. Now we're gonna pull back so you can see what we look like from afar. Keep an eye on this almost wall-like structure here. It's almost like there's a chasm there. This is the thing, I keep feeling like we don't have. Our horizon is not the horizon at all. I think we've got a fake horizon. I think it's deliberately fake because actually it's here. I think this is our true horizon. Or maybe not even. I mean, technically it would be that, wouldn't it? Who knows? I mean, it could be going further up still. We've got a very strong blue there. I mean, that's going to be. But I mean, it's grey, but no, that's definitely a strong tone of blue. That's interesting. That's more blue than. Maybe because it could be a hologram, maybe? You can see all of the eye motifs again. Another one there. Another one there. Oh wow, look at this. Well, this is an interesting development. Wasn't expecting to see a bright light this side of the sky at this time of day. More eye business here. I'm sure you're probably seeing it by now as well. Handlebars, huh? Where's this thing coming from? Is that local? Because this thing is more local than, say, that thing. Or say that thing. Or maybe even that thing. I mean, have you noticed how this part of the sky is going that way, but this part of the sky is coming this way? And then you've got... Oh, are we having a divine meeting? I didn't realise I had a visitation scheduled in with God today. Look at this. Why the individual illuminated areas? Why those bits? How is that possible? Why just those bits are illuminated and not the other bits? I mean, this is what they have us believe. It's just a whole bunch of nonsense without even questioning it, without even thinking, you wouldn't even... I mean, the thing is, right, people wouldn't even see it anyway to question it. So we haven't even got to the questioning yet. We haven't got to the people turning around and saying, oh, it's just because you're using an effect, or it's just because you're doing this, or that, or the other. You know. This effect isn't adding anything. What it's doing is enhancing. It really gives you a sense of depth as well, you know. You realise, like, this is an Earth cloud. This is an Earth cloud. This is one of our clouds, apparently. Doesn't look anything like a fucking cloud though, does it? I mean, it's clearly there's something very odd about it. Huge, round thing, just... Why? What's that about? And then another round thing here. Right. Yeah. There's a kind of programming where people have literally have learned not to look at things for themselves, and that if anyone else does, then they're clearly like, oh, you dare question the narrative? Oh, you're obviously a conspiracy theorist then. Oh man, fucking can't stand the CIA for what they did with that. Like, oh man, that whole. So we don't need that shit, man. We don't need that crap right now. People like me at this point are now dangerous, because we're literally seeing the world in a different way. I think there's something going on here. I think these things may actually be some kind of. This is very perfect, though. Oh, I see. Mr. Iron, there you are. So this is some kind of protective shield or something then? And this thing. Yes, I do listen to Quantum of Conscience regularly. That's why I'm constantly questioning this. Because I'm always having to remind myself that I'm at a similar point of I don't know, I can't trust that anything I experience is actually real anymore, and the likelihood is there is a level of manipulation to almost everything, to one degree or another, and it's almost impossible to avoid. That's the nature of this kind of thing, and it's difficult to not believe that, to be honest. I mean, with that kind of perspective, though, it's very easy to then to understand why people become depressed. I mean, it's a lot to take in. I mean, most people will become depressed or suicidal or anxious or psychotic in the process of living with it. And if the mental health issues don't eat you up, then the external world will eventually turn on you. They turn you against yourself first, and then if that doesn't work, everyone else turns again. So I'm just rolling. If someone learns these truths and doesn't become depressed while learning these things, yeah. Well, I mean, it depends. Like, I started learning about stuff when I was at university level, and I got taught Marxism, and when you get taught the Marxist perspective at a young age, it is pretty much enough to destroy any hopes of. Because you realise basically the entire world is controlled one way or another. You've got Marxism, you've got capitalism. The guy who wrote the rule book to both is Karl Marx, and basically we're in a world of controlled opposition and controlled paradigms of you know, that there is no good system, that we are living the Hegelian dialectic. It is a huge political experiment, on a human level anyway. The cost is human lives and a great deal of suffering for everyone, because everyone's so attached to their ideologies and their political beliefs and their economic perspectives and whatever. But no one is prepared to let them go, despite the fact that it's pretty obvious that all of those things combined are hurting everyone and everything that exists. There needs to be an acknowledgement of that on a human collective level, and until that happens, I think things, because the thing is, I don't really want a full-on libertarian experience either, I don't want to have to fend entirely for myself. I'm in the unfortunate position at the moment where I am very much reliant on support from the government. If I didn't have that, I could have died. My life would be so much worse than it is now. The problem is, I also understand that's a trap, and that it's difficult to get out of. But then there's also a responsibility on the economic side of things to ensure that people are paid well for the things that they do, and the fact is they're not. No one is. No normal working class person is paid well for what they do. Oh look, we're getting some of the transparent things coming through again. See that there? I got a thing there. Bit's moved, so then look at this thing here. Yeah, really. Well, that doesn't look like a wall or something. I think it's still there. Right. I think if people are coming together and organise themselves by their needs and their priorities, and people came together and did it themselves, so we're quite capable of organising it. We know. I don't know. I mean, we've got a set of systems in place that theoretically should be doing the jobs and providing for our needs, like a healthcare system and blah 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 blah, and infrastructure. And it's not that that they're necessarily bad things, but they've just been run into the ground, haven't they? At least on a three-dimensional perspective, and deliberately. Round thing there. Notice everything is slightly skewed as well when you look in the sky. It's got that kind of almost liquid-like distortion there, but look at this. This thing just crops up. I have to be honest, this looks like artwork that I did. With these kind of forms. Drew this a lot. I'd have to get my sketchbook out. Right. Well, it doesn't work insofar as our perspective of it, does it? I mean, for all we know, like I was saying earlier, there is a much bigger narrative or paradigm of reality that is playing out outside of our perception that we are only just beginning to tune into, and all of that shit will just pale in comparison. It will just be, you know. Look at them trying to polarize their projections so that it doesn't give away too much. Look at this. Or maybe they're trying to. Hang on a minute, look. See, it looks like a shape, but then you realise it's a fucking. They're spheres. They're spheres. Huh? You look at the way that they're. It's odd, isn't it? Okay. Oh, it's been fantastic to have your company, Mr. Forever Conscious. Thank you for coming by. Catch up again soon on Discord, no doubt. Or whenever there's another live stream. Hello, system failure. type. Can't tag you because of the stupid emoji in your name. Thank you very much for your thumbs up, Mr. System Failure. I'm assuming you're a mister. Maybe I shouldn't be assuming that. Yeah. Thank you. I'm just doing this with a mouse, so, and with my right hand as well. It's just my mouse hand, but it's not the hand that I actually use to draw. This craziness. Sure, I should be subscribed to you. If I make you a mod, you could post your channel link maybe. Yeah. Let me think. Let's see if I can find your channel. Because I know that I am subscribed. There you go. Mr. C3PO there. The gold leg. Alright, you've done a live stream with Dark Wolf, have you? Huh. Hello, Jerry. He was like one of the first few people I met online regarding the Mandela effect, actually. Those crazy early months. Some weird. We all hung out together in a Hangouts group. Thank you very much for sharing that. And we all hung out. There was a group of us. We hung out online a lot for the first few months, and it was very chaotic and dramatic at times. There were lots of interpersonal things that kind of cropped up among the group. Anyway, so the main thing was there was a few crazy things that happened. You know, I don't even know how to describe it, explain it. I think there was one night in particular, one weekend in particular, we were all on Hangouts, and it was a full moon weekend, and I remember feeling that was the first time I'd ever felt anything like it, like this intense dizziness. And the first time I'd ever really experienced what people would describe as ascension symptoms, right? And anyway, like, I swear to God, that guy's a werewolf. Because like, one night that weekend during the full moon, like only like at one point he looked like one thing, and then the next time I saw him, which was probably like no more than 24 hours or so, his beard had grown like significantly, and it was almost like I had shifted into a parallel universe and to a different version of everybody. It was the weirdest experience. I did keep having these shifts, and it was getting interesting because we were hanging out quite a lot at one point, and so you got used to certain things, and then you start noticing changes, and it was so weird, man. Like, so yeah, some crazy times. It was those experiences actually that kind of like ended up pushing me deeper into it. Like, wow, I'm meeting all these crazy, wonderful, magical people, and weird stuff starts happening. One of the things I've noticed as well is that a lot of people start when you get more, you get some multiple awakened people in the same place, or when you start talking to another awakened person, you really notice the energy, and that's when weird stuff starts happening. You know. Look at this big red column thing on. I would think you wouldn't know it was red, would you? But it was obviously being camouflaged somehow. Because those colours wouldn't be there unless they were really there. Hey, could that be the red dragon? Got this big eye thing here. Like a horn thing there. I mean, just. And it's got this tail. I mean, terrible, isn't it? Very odd looking. Well, thank you for dropping by, man. Wow, look at that. That is some major. That's unusual, guys. That's not. Look at those colours. Can you hear that noise? Wow. Well, that's definitely a tale of something. Wow. 7 o'clock. Can't believe it. Haven't even cooked dinner yet. Okay, let's just see how this. See how this thing came in. Wow. Wow. Just wow. Goodness me, look at that. Oh, look at that. Trident. That's what I've seen in the Schumann resonance. Trident's come up a few times. Okay. This is just fascinating. Look at that. You wouldn't even know it. You wouldn't even know what colour it was until you did this. Oh my. Look at that. Big red sphere. You can see the eye. You can see the shading on the way the light and shadow falls on it. This is unusual. Unusual. We'll just say unusual. There's the symmetry. Stunning imagery. I'm mindful of missing too much. Although they're clearing out that, seem to be clearing that side of things away. I think they kind of want me to do the. They want me to do this, I think. Make faces, so here's your chance. Hey there, Mr. Learn Share. Could this be the red dragon? rate down just a tad. Look at the way those blue bits are illuminating here. You need to move over a bit more. Okay, you ready for this? Let's get myself some food. What am I doing? Says all really, doesn't it? Oh, it's coming down. I think I'm getting some kind of messages. Just want to do one thing. Oh wow. Huh. the end, I think. That's like a pair of angels. And thank you for sharing. Oh wow. I'm just going to mute out for a minute and think about what I'm going to have for dinner. Okay, here we go. Just went to the bathroom. Asked them to hold it for about a minute or two. Now they're starting. It's like you can't do this and not see faces. Wow. Look at that. Goodness me, look at that. What do you think they're trying to tell us? Wow. Can you believe this is happening? Which way do you want? This way? Wow. God, it completely changes everything, doesn't it? Is that me or is that... Looks like a set of stairs.
Wow, it seems like it does.
Oh, another one of those weird bouncy things again. Just change it over to manual. Basically, I had a sneezing fit just now, so out of nowhere. I don't know how many times I sneezed then, but it was ridiculous. Maybe it's coming back round for another pass. I've just made a highlight. Let's add. See that line coming down? This one. And that noise? Listen. There's two of them. There's two lines. I need to eat. Bloody hell. What a racket. Okay, apologise. Turn it down. Plane's going very fast. Doesn't look like a plane there, does it? I haven't put any filters on yet. Well, this line's looking interesting, isn't it? Let's have a look and see what we can do with that. Just a bit much there. You can see it. Shadows of things here. Something like that. Some kind of... moving around. Look at this. See, look, as I draw along, interesting the way that does that, isn't it? No stars either. Or we call stars. Oh. Let's see. Put that up to there. Interesting, isn't it? What would be causing that round thing? Look at the night creeping in. Sun. Look at the way it dissolves. Okay, I think I'm going to end it there for the time being. Thank you for watching. Have a great day. Or good night. Take care.